welcome and thank you so much for stopping by, my fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It is your host Galadon with an important message regarding the brand new troop. That's right, the Root Riders. If you are not using Root Riders, then perhaps you're missing out on all the fun. Of course, in the history of Clash of Clans, new troops and nerfs, the Root Rider is going to fit right in because, well, let's just say there's about a 98.5 chance that the stats on said Root Rider will be reduced at some point in the relatively near future. It's just too strong right now. Yes, in today's video, I will almost 3-star a fully maxed out Town Hall 16, and at the end of today's episode, we will take a look at a professional attacker. But for now, the consummate amateur, the 2-star master, Galadon, is out with his Root Rider clone spam, and things are going pretty well. Remember the saying, if Galadon can 3, the strat's OP? Well, obviously, this is not a fully maxed out Town Hall 16, and actually, technically, if we really get into it, then today's episode is not saying that the Root Rider is overpowered. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. So we are having fun with this. I am picking up mostly 3 stars. This is basically like a 15.99. There's not a lot to the Town Hall 16 side of this base other than the Town Hall itself. And the Root Riders, well, you could see all I'm doing here is dropping a Flame Flinger on one side that's safe from a mortar, Queen walking the opposite corner, and then throwing in a ton of Root Riders with a little bit of rage, with a lot of clone, and again, not a lot of skill involved in this attack. And it's not quite as easy as, say, Electro Dragon spam, but it's right up there with set it, forget it, spray and pray, spin and win, whatever you want to call it. They roll right in. The Warden ability helped out. The spell timing and placement, obviously. The lower level defenses, massively. But it is a lot of fun. And that's always the good thing with any new troop. They're just fun to use. If you were back there in the early days of the Yetis or the Witches or the Hog Riders, it's always fun. But then again, they almost always have a balancing that brings them more in line with other units, and I would not be surprised if we saw that sometime in the next month or so, if these poor Root Riders just get slightly nerfed. Okay, now this is, of course, the Challenge Yourself. This is the beautiful addition of quality of life to Town Hall 16, the ability to attack your own base once the cooldown has expired. So we rolled in. This time, Archer Queen at 9 o'clock. We've got the Flame Flinger at 12 o'clock, and then the Root Riders will come in between the two, and that's it. This base, I would say, definitely respectable. You know, it's not necessarily ideally set up, and yes, it was one of the bases that I linked in my video the other day about top 10 Town Hall 16 bases. Now, those were top 10 Town Hall 16 bases only because at the time I made that video, those were probably the only 10 Town Hall 16 bases in the game. So just saying, I know you guys came up with better, and I appreciate those of you that have been sending me links on Twitter. I promise to reward those of you if I use those in a future episode. But again, this is just a dumbed down version of what you're about to see at the end of today's episode, because there's not a lot of, intricacies to this. We don't even really look closely at where to go. I would say the only thing I'm looking for is, number one, can I set down the Flame Flinger where it's out of range of defenses? And B, where's a good spot that the Archer Queen can walk without using any sort of wall breaking mechanisms? No jumps, no earthquakes, no wall breakers of any kind. It just generally seems to work out. Of course, the Root Riders are going to make that entry into the base for everyone else. And it also seems counterintuitive that your Root Riders would be basically the only troop you're bringing to the entire raid, right? Because the whole idea is that they're opening up walls for other units to follow. Maybe the King and the Queen in this case, maybe even the Flame Flinger. For the most part, you would think, just bring a few Root Riders and then somebody else to come in and carry out the massive DPS in the core of the base. But yes, like I said, for now, maybe the Root Riders are a little bit too strong. And again, I'm only saying that because of my personal experience. I seem to be getting way more 3 stars than I normally do. And yes, I did not imagine that I would be able to go in and 3-star, friendly challenge 3-star, a fully maxed out Town Hall 16 in one try. This was literally the only attack that I did. The only friendly challenge that I needed to execute for this episode was right here. Oh, okay, so fine, there's a little asterisk in the corner of this 3-star attack against a fully maxed out 16, and the asterisk says, well, technically all I needed to do was start the attack a few seconds earlier, and then it would have gone a little bit differently, because if you hadn't seen by now, you guessed it, it's Galadon after all, and these things happen to be over and over and over again. I don't know why it keeps happening to me. No, anyway, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, it was a 99, so it technically was not a 3-star, right? So if Galadon can't 3, the strat's not OP. Okay, let's let Tribe Gaming try it, and let me tell you, boy, have they been trying it. A lot of attacks using Root Riders, and obviously this is a pro version of a Root Rider attack. You can see the army is much more complicated than what I brought. I mean, we've got archers, barbarians, giants, goblins, wall breakers, balloons, wizards, healers, minions. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of everything here. And no clone, by the way. No clone. I feel like the clone is like the cheating way to get more Root Riders. It's really, it doesn't do you that much good. But 2 clone spells, maybe it makes a difference. Maybe more rage spells. Again, I'm open to suggestions. And as always, I will be down in the comments talking about whatever good feedback you have about these attacks. So the general strategy is about the same. Flame Flinger on one side, Queen on the other, but, and it's a big but, the Barbarian King is actually going in at 12 o'clock. The Queen Charge is being used to take out the Town Hall and the Monolith, and then the Root Riders are going to come in from that top left side of the base. This makes a lot more sense. You don't want to send your Root Rider army, and this is true with any attack that you're using, after the Town Hall. You don't want your balloons going there, you don't want your hogs, your miners, your yetis, whatever the case may be. Ideally, everybody avoids the Town Hall except for a blimp or an archer queen in this case. But also, again, remember, this was a war attack. Tribe had plenty of time to study the bases and use the tailored army after that specific base layout. In Legend League, which is usually where I'm doing most of my attacks, you don't have that kind of choice, and I don't expect that we're ever going to have that kind of choice, like multiple army options or anything like that for Legend League. Just not likely to happen, and let's be honest, do we really need Clash to get any easier than it already is? I mean, it's pretty easy right now, I will admit. And of course, there's always the possibility, the probability, the inevitability that other defenses will see upgrades for Town Hall 16, which will make attacking a little bit more difficult, a little bit more competitive. And again, I know most of us don't care about the World Championships, but the Clash team does try to keep things balanced so that the pros don't walk all over every base. Let me know if you're using Root Riders. I am until they get nerfed. Thank you, Galafan, for sticking around all the way to the end of today's episode. I truly appreciate, especially those of you that have subscribed, as our subscriber numbers are actually going up again. So get out there, make the best of the rest of your day, be kind to other people, animals, and the planet, and I hope to see every last one of you back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon subscriber numbers going up. If you hit 2 million, I have to show my face. Isn't that right?